white people are a superior race, like a better race than other races. Being white gives you an advantage in IQ and temperament and long-term thinking. And that's just due to the weather, because I mean, people who live more up north, they have to prepare for the winter, the harsh winter, than like a decent summer, right? Like if you're living on the coast of Nigeria at any time in human history, you're like, I love the coconut tree give me food. And you just grab the coconut, you crack it open, you eat the coconut, you know? There's always food, it's always plentiful. You don't need to build a shelter, while Europeans had to think ahead of the time.
I'm going to draw attention to the Ashango bone, but it's an ancient artifact that is nearly 20,000. It's in Central Africa. It's nearly 20,000 years old, right? It is one of the earliest mathematical tools that we know of today, right? So I want you to understand that the modern epoch that they teach us throughout history is 6,000 years old, right? Which is like the inception of Mesopotamia and things like that. Coincidentally, 6,000 years is also when white skin has started to appear in Europe. So consider that whenever they talk about human history, modern human history is only 6,000 years old. No, their history is only 6,000 years old. Ours is way older. And so the Ashango bone, 20,000-year-old mathematical tool in Central Africa. Black Africans, primarily the ancient Kemetu, seeded civilization in Greek, but subsequently seeded Rome, and then the rest of European civilization. Right? Colombo Falls, an almost 500,000-year-old wooden structure. Colombo Falls is in Africa, the border between Zambia and Tanzania. A 500,000-year-old wooden structure. This predates the modern epoch by 493,000 years roughly, right? So whenever they talk about, oh, Africans didn't have civilization, we were the first to do literally everything. Ask all of the Greek scholars where they got their influence from, where they learned mathematics from, where they learned philosophy from, where they learned the humanities from. Who civilized them? It was Black Africans.
Deep down in my heart, I'm ethnocentric, which means I think my race is the superior one.
This is a middle school teacher in Austin, Texas, telling a classroom of mostly black and brown kids that he believes his race, he's white, is the superior race.
White is better than all.
No, let me finish.
Go ahead.
I think everybody thinks that, they're just not honest about it.
How long I've been telling you about the conversations happening behind closed doors in the white community. White people swear I'm just making it up, but he said he thinks everybody's like that. They're just not honest about it. Why you think he thinks that?
I'm not racist though. I like all types of colors.
Did I say I don't like people?
People only think
Wait,
that.
so you said you are what? You are racist? You saying you're like, you're
I
racist?
think everybody's a racist at that level.
No, you said you are racist.
I did. Yeah, I'm trying to be honest.
I'm racist.
No, I'm not saying it again. I've said it enough.
He sees no problem with what he's saying to these children.
I actually
respected you for a while, but like
I'm putting
now,
your phone out.
I don't even got no more respect for you.
Put it up.
Yeah, for real. I don't think I got respect for him no more, bro.
You know, you should have more respect. 'Cause
He then has the caucasity to say they should respect him more. They fight to keep CRT out of schools. They ban books because of woke culture. They say white supremacy is a thing of the past. Ask yourself 3 questions. Do you believe this teacher has treated his students equally and equitably? Do you think he's the only teacher with this mindset? And do you think this is the first time that he's said this shit out loud for other people to hear? Nah, his close friends and family have heard this bullshit before. I've been saying it. I'll keep saying it. This is the reality of what's happening behind closed doors in white America.
The idea that white people are somehow God's chosen people makes me laugh every single time. And there's 3 reasons for this. Number 1, race is a social construct. The fact that people argue whether Italians or Portuguese people or Spaniards are white or not white in America shows that it's literally a social construct. Is a slight tan, does that mean you're white? Like, it's all made up. It's completely not rooted in biology in any way. Number 2, most of like the Abrahamic religions, they don't dictate random white people from America as God's chosen people. It's Jewish people or Muslim people or someone descended from a leader like the Buddha. When people say this, it's just so manifest destiny core, but in 2025, and it's really embarrassing. And number 3, the idea that race mixing somehow dilutes the blood is actually ridiculous. This isn't true at all. Blood bleeds red regardless of whose blood it is. And this line of thinking is just straight up white supremacist, of the fact that the 1 drop rule, any amount of blood that's not white makes you black or a person of color. So anyways, you guys are embarrassing. Get off my page.
Does anyone else ever think about how like crazy it is that white men have actually been successful at making everybody believe that they are more superior because of their skin color and gender, and that the way they enforced this belief onto other people is by simply abandoning their own humanity in order to commit extreme amounts of violence onto other people, to the point where they were forced to surrender and just accept colonization or just accept slavery. The reason why this blows my mind so much is because in order to actually convince people that a certain skin color is more superior, you had to abandon your own humanity in order to commit so much violence that those people were finally forced to say, yes, you're right, your skin color is more superior, even though they knew it wasn't. It's like the thing that makes you more superior is your willingness to abandon your humanity. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. It constantly blows my mind. It's like, how are people letting racism run their lives like this? How do you not see through that? How do you not see that racism is a tool of these white males because it causes confusion and fear? Because it makes you think that somebody might come for you, but you don't actually know who that somebody is because there's so many different types of people, so anybody could be an enemy. And because you're so confused and in fear, you're not paying attention to the actual enemy who is getting away with so much violence, so much aggression, so much theft. They're flying under the radar because we're all too focused on each other being the enemy instead of who the actual enemy is. And it's not to say that white men are the only demographic of people who are capable of inflicting violence onto other people in order to conquer them. That's not what I'm saying. But back in the days when there was a dictator in a certain country, like let's say China or something, everybody knew that that was the dictator, and the dictator knew he was the dictator, and he enforced his opinions and his punishments accordingly. Like, he was the face of the violence, he was the face of the power structure, he was the face of the conquering, right? But nowadays, it's like the dictators are hiding behind the scenes and they're making everybody else do all their dirty work for them. And they're saying that they're not the dictators. They're saying that everybody's situation is a result of their own actions. They're saying, actually, you're responsible for the way your life looks. And they say this while completely ignoring the fact that the reason why your life looks the way that it looks is because a group of white males was willing to abandon their own humanity, to abandon their own soul, and to destroy and be violent and be aggressive and conquer and cause harm on a group of people, permanently altering their lineage, permanently altering their future, permanently changing the land that they originally came from, and then have the audacity to say, oh, but it's your fault if you're not making enough money to live in a one-bedroom apartment, or whatever it is, whatever the case may be. They always want to blame you for the issues that you face regarding your race, while completely ignoring the fact that they made up race and they reinforced race by doing something that most people are not willing to do, which is abandon their humanity. The very thing that makes us human is caring about each other, regardless of what you look like on the outside. That is the purest essence of being a human. And white males have consistently proven that it doesn't matter to them. But they're still the most superior humans, even though the very thing that makes you human is not important to them at all. I don't know, y'all. Am I sounding crazy? Am I sounding crazy? Because this blows my mind all the time.
What is y'all's race or ethnicity?
Caucasian. Caucasian.
I gotta guess. If you guys could be one race for a day, what would you be and why?
We're the superior race, like not as in like that.
Oh, that's mad.
Yeah, we are the fuck. I'm not gonna be like, I want to be black because you guys have a terrible time of it.
No shit.
Okay. So what would you be after that crazy answer?
I'll be mixed race.
And why is that?
My ex-boyfriend was mixed race growing up, but he never got it.
Why you doing it?
It'd be quite interesting to experience like what people are going through. I don't know, like I've never had someone comment on my race as a white girl.
When individuals or groups do hold belief of racial superiority, researchers have identified many possible reasons. Similar attitude has appeared among many white people, and which led to the racial group throughout history. Some factors that can contribute to the belief of racial superiority when white people start saying, oh, I am superior, my race is superior, is one, the desire for power and status. Two, the fear of losing social and economic advantage. Three, cultural tradition passed down through generations. Four, misinformation. Five, lack of meaningful contact with people from other groups. Six, stereotype learned from families or peers. Seven, propagandas from political movements. Eight, nationalist or economic supremacist ideology. Nine, economic competition and scapegoating. 10, historical system that reward white group over others. 11, fear of social changes. 12, group identity and tribalism. 13, confirmation bias, paying attention only to information that supports existing belief. 14, segregated communities that limit understanding. 15, media portrayals that reinforce stereotype. 16, desire or justify unequal treatment. 17, feeling of insecurity, compensation by feeling of superiority. 18, misinterpretation of histories. 19, extremist organization promoting racist idea. 20, social pressure from a racist environment. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share, and credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's dive right into the other parts of this video. I'll be back with commentaries, guys. Let's go watch.
A lot of people with a lot of privilege love acting like they're being oppressed. You're not being oppressed. You're just uncomfortable. No one's kicking down your door for saying Merry Christmas. No one's canceling you for being straight or white or religious. You're not being silenced because someone finally asked you to shut up and listen. That's not oppression. That's just equality. And yeah, if you've never had to share power before, equality can feel like a loss. But what you're feeling isn't persecution. It's unfamiliar accountability. Because the truth is, a lot of people on the right aren't used to being uncomfortable. They're used to running the room and controlling the language and centering the conversation, getting deferential treatment, and then calling it normal. So the second they're asked to say someone's pronouns or read a book on racism or acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, not everyone wants to live under their definition of freedom, suddenly they're the victim. But real oppression, that's being denied healthcare because of who you love, or being profiled because of your skin tone, or being arrested for protesting your government, having laws passed to erase your identity while being told to calm down. Oppression isn't someone disagreeing with you. It's someone taking away the rights of another human. And no, you don't have to agree with everything. Hell, you don't have to agree with any of it. But pretending you're under attack every time someone asks you to grow, that's not bravery. That's your fragile privilege throwing a tantrum. So the next time someone screams they're being canceled, just ask, are you being silenced? Or is the playing field just being leveled for everyone? Because if your freedom depends on no one else having any, it was never freedom to begin with. Being uncomfortable isn't oppression. And if you're unwilling to be uncomfortable, you were never oppressed to begin with.
Might be a hot take, but if America wants to actually heal, we need to completely end the concept of whiteness. White people like to cling to this idea that we are inherently a superior race. The concept of whiteness wasn't invented until the 17th century. Even then, it was only used to justify oppression of people based off their skin color. So you could easily identify who was somebody in power and who wasn't. If you saw a white person walking down the street versus a black or brown person, you can immediately assume social status, which if you're trying to extract wealth from those individuals, makes it very easy to tell the place of those people. That's why I think it's so ridiculous when people are like, oh, white people are superior, because we literally could not do anything throughout history by ourselves. We had to have black and brown people do it for us because we're so fucking incompetent. Whiteness isn't real. It's a social construct made up under capitalism to exploit wealth and extract resources. You are not special because you have lighter skin. You are not God's chosen people because you have light skin. Even calling yourself a white person doesn't even make any fucking sense, because it was something that was created relatively recently and only under the basis of creating a system of slavery and oppression. The concept of race as a whole is completely made up. So shut the fuck up.
The United States government made an agreement with its white citizens. That agreement was, hey, white people, whether you're of Anglo-Saxon descent, you're Irish descent, German descent, Italian descent, does not matter. So what the government did is that, hey, we're going to give you land. We're going to give you certain amenities. And further down the line, we're going to give you housing. And we're going to give you all these things. But the number one thing that we need you to understand is that we need you to feel like you're superior to black people. Okay, from 1619, when the first slaves came, 20 or odd so Negroes came to this country, all the way until 1857 in a Dred Scott versus Stanford case that literally said and codified in the law that black people were an inferior race, all the way up until now in 2026, when you got the president of the United States freaking making memes about a former president. What they needed y'all to understand and really hone in is that you were the superior race. But quite frankly, none of that actually is true. They've been tricking you the whole time. You're not the superior race. You're not the chosen of God and anything like that. They've been lying to you. But some of y'all white supremacist racists, y'all actually need to feel that. It makes you feel better at night.
There are people in this world who believe that they are somehow chosen, that they are superior human beings, a supreme race. And because of that underlying belief, they think that they have the right to take whatever they want from the inferior races. They think that they have the right to go wherever they please, kick whoever's living there off the land, and appropriate that land for themselves. And they believe they have the right to use whatever tactic necessary, including mass murder, to achieve that. Not only that, but this superior race believes that they can collect the undesirables from among them, encourage, quote unquote, some of them to migrate, and if that doesn't work, then terrorize them into migration. And if that doesn't work, they think they have the right to shut them up into ghettos or just outright kill them. This is the reality of this world. And if you think I'm talking about Gaza, I'm not. I'm talking about Nazi Germany. But if you thought that, you should ask yourself, why did you think I was talking about Gaza?
Society will literally never be at peace so long as we keep pushing for equality. Equality is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. There is nothing in nature that's equal. There's nothing in nature that's fair. And as Aristotle said, the greatest form of inequality is trying to make unequal things equal. Some people are just superior to others. We all inherently know this. Meritocratic ideology is intuitive to all humans. There are people that are significantly smarter than me. My opinion should not be viewed in equal light to them. It doesn't mean that any of us are less valuable as humans. It just means some of us are superior. And this is coming from somebody who clearly is nowhere near the top of the food chain.
White people are obsessed with black people, which is why racists exist. Because in order to be racist, you need to wake up every day and just continuously think about why you don't like a person or a group of people based on the color of their skin. In response to my video about the young Republican group chat in which they joked about racism, anti-Semitism, gas chambers, I got several responses like this saying, you're acting like black people don't talk about white people the same way we talk about you in your group chats. Black people do not think about white people at all. And I know that's probably hard for you guys to comprehend because you think about us so much. Our lives do not revolve around what white people are doing, what white people are saying. We do not talk about you guys when you're not in the room. We don't talk about you even when you are in the room unless you do something. Half of the commentary you see from black people, including myself, that is online, comes in response to you guys doing or saying some crazy shit. And in reality, the only thing that black people want is to be left alone by white people. But you guys won't leave us alone because you think about us all the time. And if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe someone who looks like you.
Black people want to be left alone. They don't want revenge. They don't want to replace us, as some extremist groups have said. They just want to live life in peace, the way they want to live. They want family, they want love, and they want to live in a society where they know they belong here. They want society to also know that they belong here.
That's not culturally a thing that we do, but apparently it's something you do, so you think that we're sitting around pondering about what you're doing. This goes back to why white women think that they're the managers of the world, so they can come question black people and what they're doing. You can stalk us outside. You can have all these thinks and thought pieces about how we exist,
And it's like, I've never really understood it. But it's because you guys are infatuated with the idea of, one, us being free citizens to think, vote, have jobs, and make money. Two, we're not subjugated by you literally like we used to be. Three, it's like a weird obsession where you want to be liked by us and you want us to think that you're cool. And four, a combination of all the above. But sorry, to answer your question, no, we do not have group chats where we sit around talking about white people. I hope that helps you on this beautiful Sunday. Stay blessed.
You want to be white so bad. What does that even mean? Like I said in the panel, what does it mean to act white? What does it mean to practice white adjacency? Does it mean to work hard? Does it mean have a family, buy a house, go to church, dress properly? Is that what it means? I'm just going to say it. How is that an insult? Telling someone that they're trying to act white, which first of all is pretty rich coming from a Gen Z pop culture full of non-black kids from the suburbs trying to act like inner city black people. Hey, it's true. Vince, you can't say that. Why not? It's true. It's the case. The only reason that they use acting white as an insult is because they think it is bad to be white. But it's not. Actually, being born white is not a crime.
Let's start from the top. A lot to unpackage here. Number one, when you ask the question about acting white, one would say that it is conforming to Western values and standards, specifically when you talk about dressing proper. Dressing proper according to whom? Western values. Who are Western values constructed by? Colonists. Who were the colonists? You know what I'm talking about. Number two, when he asked the question about white adjacency, he answered his own question with everything that followed after that about dressing and about going to church. Those are respectability politics. Number three, respectability politics is defined as the belief of behaving or appearing like the dominant group in society would deem you more respectable and therefore more valuable. And that's exactly what you've engaged here in this video. Number four, this comes from a legal scholar concerning the Western world. Can you read with me? Since the Western system works by placing positivity and establishing its self-identity on the value of the white, it structures its primary opposition negatively on the level of black. To speak in racial opposition, in reference to the anti-black world, which two principles value are predominant, we see it is best to be white, and second, it is worse to be black. Or to put it in multicultural terms, it is best to be white, but when that fails, at least avoid being black at all costs. Number five, he kind of had a point about non-black kids acting like they from the urban area, putting on blackness like a performance. He got a point right there. However, number six, it shows you that you're being facetious or you're engaging in racial gaslighting because you know what acting black means, but you don't know what acting white means. Number seven, some people really believe if it ain't white, then it ain't right, huh? Number eight, acting white or being adjacent to white is conforming or assimilating. Are we familiar with these concepts? What we on? Number 10? Yeah, what he did, though, was illustrate his racial illiteracy, his lack of ability to read and write situations pertaining to race. When y'all go back into the video and see when we talked about dressing properly, who y'all think told him dressing with a suit was dressing properly?
So I was raised that Black people were God's favorite and they were the superior race. And it was interesting to be raised with that mentality because I think it's different than a lot of how other white people were raised. And I do believe that if more people were raised this way, the world would be a little bit better of a place and maybe we can get along a little bit nicer together. Obviously, there's pros and cons to everything. So I would love to discuss the pros and cons of what it was like to be raised with this mentality, as well as what you think about it and what you think we should do going forward to raise the next generation of children who are carrying the future for us. So how this mentality came about, I was really quizzical and curious as a child and very outspoken. It's interesting to look back now that we're in this ginger talk right now. I'm kind of reliving a few of the silly little traumas that we faced as gingers. And I noticed that I was more outspoken between the ages of 0 and 8. And once I started getting really made fun of as a ginger, I kind of lost my voice and I wasn't as brave or outspoken and I was shy and timid. So it's kind of interesting to have that realization now, so many years later. Anyway, back to the important topic here. The way that this mentality was brought on to me was, as I said, I was very outspoken and, I was quizzical and curious as a child. So before the age of 6, I asked my mom, why do we call them Black people when they're more different shades of brown? And I asked her, why do people treat them differently or call them names? Like, what does this mean? Why is this happening? And how do you explain race and racism to a child that is under the age of 6 in a way that they can understand? Because obviously they're not going to be able to comprehend or grasp the entirety of the depth of what racism really truly is. So how do you explain that to a child? She knew that I loved my brownies and my cookies baked a little bit longer than you're supposed to, because the crispy edge of the brownie was always my favorite. And I loved when the chocolate chip cookie was a little bit crispy on the outside and a little gooey on the inside. And that was the perfect way to bake the cookies and bake the brownies. So she used that analogy. And yes, it sounds crazy, but as a 4-year-old child, it made perfect sense. And she used that analogy and she said, you know how you like your cookies and your brownies baked a little bit extra? That's kind of what God did with Black people. He took more time and more love into creating Black people. And that's why they're a little bit darker than you. He just baked them a little bit longer. That's how she described race to me. And she said that anybody who talks badly about them or is mean to them is just jealous. So right away, I was kind of just like completely infatuated and just in awe of Black people, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it like to be God's favorite? What is it like to, just be loved a little bit more from God? Like, I just thought it was incredible and amazing. And so I always just gravitated towards Black people because I was like, oh my God, like they're so lucky. Do they know how lucky they are? Like, how cool is it that God spent a little bit more time on them? I was fascinated by it. And
I don't know why some of these white folks thinks they are superior. Like, I literally do not know why. Maybe because how the system has literally programmed it and how they see themselves. But I think it is high time we know what superiority is all about, and of which I'm going to be breaking down at the end of my video. See, a lot of them coming out to be like, oh, I'm superior over this race, I'm superior over that race, I'm superior over east, west, north, and south. I don't know. You can imagine what a teacher is telling his students in the classroom. A class that is of mixture of Black and brown people, making them to understand that his race is the superior race. And look at how the students laughed at him. It's crazy that some of these people will literally not teach kids the right way or the right thing, putting ideologies that are fake as far as I'm concerned. That name called whiteness was just created to make it look like a lot of them are elevated, a lot of them are higher than every other race. But in this modern time, where we have seen the in and out of every single thing, the only thing they are getting right now is faffle and karma of what they have literally done to Black people. It's as simple as that. I can literally, and I do not see them as any superior race as far as I am concerned. In fact, as it stands, I know that Black people are even more superior, because Black people, despite every single thing that they've literally gone through, were still able to create wealth for themselves. We're still able to build houses for themselves. We're still able to do a lot of things that a lot of them folks cannot even achieve. I don't have an issue that you think as a white person that you are superior than other race, but I have an issue that you are teaching children. You're saying it in presence of children. And you see, this is why this racism of a thing can never be averted, like can never be abolished, as far as I'm concerned, in a country where there are literally white and Black people, especially country like America. Because how? Just let me know how it can actually be erased, where you can see this papa, I call him papa, opening his mouth and saying, I think my race is the superior race. Are we even supposed to be debating superiority in class? Are we even supposed to make anybody feel less in class? It's quite crazy. And a lot of time you will not think that, oh, these people that said they are very much enlightened, they are very much educated, why do they have to speak this way? Why do they have to talk this way? And then you will not realize that every single thing that the white supremacy have told them are lies, as far as I'm concerned. They are typical big lie. None of white folks today that I would say, oh, they are superior than the other, is not done anywhere. And I hope a lot of them can actually watch this video and stop teaching their children what they are not supposed to teach their children, because the result of what they are teaching their children is what we are still suffering in the economy today, where a lot of them can just pick up on money, pew one person, a lot of them can racially profile, a lot of them can literally make sure they are intimidating, making sure they are shaming east, west, and south, just because they think that they are superior. I don't see anything superior here. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. I also want to hear from your own opinion, and credit to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.